Hi, I'm Robin Boyce. Welcome to City Corner. We've got a lot coming up in the new year, and we want you to stay with us to find out what's coming up. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Robin Boyce for City Corner. Thank you for staying with us this morning. We've got some great information for you here in the new year. We're going to be talking about Kids Smart, and I mean Kids Smart with money. And we're also going to be talking about what's going on in the St. Louis community and some of the great things so many awesome organizations and churches are doing here in the St. Louis area. But first up for this first segment, I want to introduce you to Miss Darlene Martin, who is president and founder of Money Smart School of Finance for Children. I really like that. I like the way that sounds there. Also, we have with us in the studio is Mr. Rodney Malone, who is Vice President of Business Bank of St. Louis. And we also have Mr. George Bailey, who is a multi-line agent for the American National Insurance. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in and talking with us. Now, you all are both board members for the Money Smart School of Finance for Children. It's just got to be, Darlene, I have to say, you've been doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
With really educating our children. There's a young man that I work with on a newspaper that talked about an adventure that he went through an organization, through the organization that you all had a little workshop with him. And he thought it was so neat, the things that he got a chance to do. Tell us, what do our children have an opportunity to learn through your organization?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say with Money Smart School of Finance for Children, in the classroom, the instructors are licensed and practicing professionals in the financial service industry. We have wealth managers, estate planners, lawyers, bankers, insurance agents, and what that does is it protects the integrity of the information that our children are learning.
So you've got real life people
Absolutely.
who are going before the kids in classrooms who are actually learning from these real folks what it means to manage money.
Absolutely, and we're taking what adults see as complicated financial information in terms of managing the markets, in terms of understanding cash flow and managing that cash flow, and we are breaking it down to the level that children can easily understand it. And then we take that information and we put it in innovative, practical, hands-on activities where the children can actually practice being in those financial situations and making decisions ahead of being adults and having to make those decisions and it affect their life going forward.
Tell me, either Rodney or George, that makes a big difference for young people to understand what money's about before they take on their first job.
It is a huge deal, and that was one of the reasons why I joined up with Darlene. One of the draws for me was, I thought to myself, when I graduated from high school,
yes,
I knew how to write a check. That was about it. And this is not unusual. You know, I love my mom and dad. I think they were great parents, and they taught me everything that they could. But this is something that is so hard. You know, parents just really struggle with this. And so we want to be able to take this on and also encourage parents to be more involved in their children's financial education.
Well, tell me, Rodney, why isn't it traditionally people have never really taught their children about money?
Well, and they really haven't talked about money because you know how most parents are scared to discuss their finance with the children. That's where the barrier actually lies at, because the parents don't want to know exactly what the kids, don't want the kids to know exactly what they make or what their salary are. So it's that big secret gap that's in between.
Or what they don't make.
Right, or what they don't make.
Okay.
And so it could be a thing of where we make too much, we don't want you to know, or else it could be where we don't make that much, we don't want you to know, and be embarrassed if you happen to go to school or whatever, if you know that amount. And
I'm sorry.
okay, and what we do with Money Smart School of Finance is the fact that we help teach the kids, okay, this is what's going on, not only with the financial facts of life, but what's going on in the more, how to understand the finances, also how to understand the stock market, and get the parents involved too, so they can kind of share that together.
Darlene, you were going to say?
What I was going to say is I've had a number of parents to share with me that they wish they knew this type of information when they were at their children's age. And a number of them feel unprepared to have the in-depth conversations or the teachings in which we provide in the classroom because they themselves are not that knowledgeable. However, they're thankful that Money Smart School of Finance for Children is available where they could come and join their children in the classroom and learn the information. We have
so parents are welcome too?
Absolutely. We have plenty of parents that participate in the class activities, play the games, assist their children and other children. It is a family learning environment.
This is good.
And
this
it becomes
is good.
very competitive between the parents and the kids too.
Really?
I might as well add that too.
In what way, for example? What kind of competition?
Well, I mean, like for instance, if we have a game going on as far as understanding their portfolio, how well the portfolio is performing, the kids want to make sure their portfolio outperforms their parents, just to say, I beat you in that. Yes.
With reference to stocks, bonds, and
Stocks,
mutuals,
bonds,
and
mutual funds,
really,
the whole works right.
How, really?
EFTs.
So how early is early enough to teach children about money? How soon? What?
I would say it's never too early because you can do very
kindergarten,
simple things.
preschool?
Absolutely. You can do very simple things. Like with my children, one thing that I did when they were in like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, we would go to the store. And we'd go to the store, and when we got to the cash register and I'm about to pay for the items, I would ask the person, the cashier, not to show how much change I'm entitled to. And whichever child could do the math quickly and come up with what my change was, they would get that.
Wow.
They would get to keep the change.
I love that idea. Actually, I need to go shopping with you too, just to play that game. I think I could do pretty well. But, even with my children, I've got children, 8, 5, 3, and 7 months, and I'll sit them down and I'll walk them through coins and stuff like that. I mean, money is not the center of our family existence. But it's a part of it, and I think that the most important thing that in the home, going back to what Rodney was talking about, parents need to be less scared to talk about money openly. And I know that that's a huge leap of faith, and I know that you don't want your kids to be consumed by this thing, but most certainly you don't want them to fear it either.
Right.
And by making it a mystery, by remaining quiet on it, by not having these conversations, money becomes this big unknown and unachievable for a lot of kids.
Right, and they come out in the world and they start working their first little job, and then they don't know quite what to do with that first check or how to put away, squirrel away a little money towards. I mean, should children actually, when they get their first job, start putting and saving their money?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's something that we teach in class as well. And one other thing I do want to mention that you touched on, Robin, and that is that parents do a wonderful job in educating our children in the traditional educational arena and sending them on to college. And the hope is that you're going to land this really good paying job.
Right.
The problem is where you are very knowledgeable in your skill set, if you don't know how to manage that money, then you're still going to have serious issues financially.
Especially when they go away to college. This is the first time they've been out of the household. They've got to handle their own money, whether they went there on scholarship, whether they're taking out student loans or what have you. They still need to know how to manage that money and make sure that it works so that everybody, knows all ducks are in a row. So, and it becomes sometimes very difficult for a young person, especially, I'm thinking of some of the ball players. Those who get into the NBA are recruited to the NFL or any of the huge franchises that we have. And at one time, I think there was a group in the NFL that decided to teach young men how to handle their money because they're making all these big, I mean, they're making really lots of dollars. So.
And that's the classic example right there of, people just getting out there. It's not enough just to have money. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme for these kids. This is how do we teach them to be financially responsible, and how do we instill them with values that make that money meaningful? If you're not a good person, or if you don't really know how to be responsible with that money, that really, it can do harmful things to you. But if you know how to use it, you can take those talents that you have, whether you're being a ballet dancer or a restaurant owner or whatever, and magnify the good that you're able to do.
Just like somebody winning the lottery.
Oh, yeah. Powerball.
We've
That's
had
right.
some
That
big
is the
Powerballs here
discussion.
recently, and so that individual, whoever wins it, or individuals, they need to understand how to deal with that money. How
Right.
do they dole it out? Where do they put it? Who do they talk to? It's important for them to get an advisor. You teach those kinds of things?
Absolutely. And not only that, we don't stop with just managing the money in terms of utilization and accumulation. We also talk about managing risks that will be associated with that money and preparing to leave a legacy for the next generation.
That is so important.
That's not a conversation that is happening. So we want to
Not
live
enough people
below
are
our
talking about that.
means
Okay.
with the sole purpose of leaving a legacy for the next generation. And that legacy not just consisting of finances, but some knowledge that you can impart to that next generation about how to manage that legacy that has been left so that they then can pass that legacy on to the next generation.
How often do you meet, or do you go directly into the schools? Tell us about how people can get in contact with you. We have on the graphics the information where folks can reach you, but tell us, do you go into the school districts, or how does your program work?
So we are visible in the school districts, and then we have classes on Saturdays in a couple of locations, and Rodney is actually the chairman of our Stock Market Savvy Kids Committee.
Stock Market Savvy Kids.
And so he can
Wow.
perhaps add
I love
detailed
that.
information.
No, I'm just glad to hear this, because our children really need to understand this. I didn't really understand the stock market until I went and got my MBA. I didn't get it until I took that finance class. I'm like, wow, if I had known this just 10 years ago, I'd probably be a rich woman right now. But that's so important, so important. You were going to say.
Yeah. Well, and what you're hitting on again, it reminds me that money really is an empowerment tool.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I think all three of us and our other board members have a really strong passion, you know. And you know, you talked about, well, what is it that you know, how is it that we get kids in here? A lot of it has been word of mouth, but we're really getting out more and more, and we're excited. We invite kids. You know, if you have a son or a daughter or a granddaughter or a niece or nephew who you think would really benefit from this, and my guess is that you do, you know, send them our way. If you are passionate about this, you know, this is our call to action. If you're a professional, you're passionate about this, we would love to talk with you.
We would have probably better communities, even if folks were making a whole lot of money. Understanding what to do with that little bitty money would really make a difference.
And like right now, we're currently in open registration because our classes begin February the 6th. But with that being said, the classes actually, we try to mimic the school year a little bit. So we have 10 weeks in the spring. Well, let me start back. We have 10 weeks in the fall, 10 weeks in the spring, and also 8 weeks in the summer.
Excellent.
And
so,
this,
go ahead.
And this like 2 hours on Saturday. At one location, we have it from 11 to 1.
Great.
And then our second location, we have it from 10 to 12.
I want to thank you all so much for coming on and talking about money smarts. Our children are really moving in the right direction, and I really thank you all so much for doing what you've done here. And we've got to get to our next commercial spots, and thank you so much. We'll have you back, Ms. Darlene, because you always come with such great information. I met you through a financial organization, so you're doing a good job, lady. I really appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And they can reach us through our website.
Great. We've got that coming up on the graphics right now, and we want to thank you so much for joining us here on City Corner, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name's CJ. A few years ago, my father became seriously ill. I did what I could do before he passed, but it took its toll. I lost my job, my house. I'm getting back on my feet, but I don't know when there'll be food on the table. How'd I do, CJ?
We could be twins.
Well, cousins, maybe.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hi, I'm Robin Boyce, and thank you for coming back with us here on City Corner. And in the studios with me right now, I have a group of community leaders who are here to talk about their different organizations and churches and some of the good things they're doing here in the St. Louis community. First up is Ms. Avis McHugh, who's Director of Family Services for Habitat for Humanity. We also have Mr. James Clark, Vice President of Community Outreach for a Better Family Life. And with us also is Reverend Paula Vanessa Cooper with Curby Memorial Presbyterian Church. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming in and talking with us in the new year. James, wow, what can I say? you just went and took it, and you know, you made this thing happen with reference to Neighborhood Alliance. Yeah. I have to tell you, you're doing an excellent job in pulling different groups together like Habitat for Humanity, the churches with Reverend Paula. You had hold a monthly meeting.
Yes.
And I tell you, this last meeting that I attended, I mean, I got phone calls, I got emails. It was like imperative that the January meeting be filled with folks who really wanted to get something done. What brought Better Family Life to the movement to do a Neighborhood Alliance?
Well, Robin, thank you for having us on. We took a hard look at our community back in 2005, and we realized that it was time to begin to focus on neighborhoods, that we had two fundamental problems. We had a family problem and we had a neighborhood problem. And we saw fit to begin to start the narrative about neighborhood empowerment and direct resource delivery to our more challenged neighborhoods. And we started the Neighborhood Alliance model, and we were able to really begin to see neighborhoods slowly turn. So through the Neighborhood Alliance model, we focused on a portion of the Penrose neighborhood and a portion of the Wells Goodfellow neighborhood, literally going door to door, engaging the families, doing family assessments, assessing the needs of everyone that lived under the roof.
What were some of the biggest things that you and the young men, we got a chance to meet too. I took some pictures of them and we'll be showing them as we're talking. What is it that your team is finding? What are the key things that they're finding when they talk to folks in the homes?
One of the biggest things that we identified was that the need goes far beyond jobs. There was a time when we can say, hey, if we can get them a job, then we can change their lives. But the human capital has slid so much towards the negative that now individuals need drug treatment, individuals need anger management, individuals need tutoring. We have a strong literacy problem. So employment is a small portion of the dysfunction now. We have got to begin to invest in the human capital. There's so much that goes into the depth of the dysfunction that we see now.
Now, what you've done also is you've created the Pulpit to Porches program, which means you were driving around, you saw all these churches that were closed
Robin,
during the week. And
it was glaring that we are in the neighborhoods every day, and it's almost like that experience you have when you get a new car. Soon as you drive off the lot, you say, wow, everyone has a car just like mine. So we're riding through the neighborhoods and walking through the neighborhoods, and a light bulb went off. There's a church on every other corner. So we then sought to bring the church in, and what we heard from the pastors were, Mr. Clark, we don't have anything to offer other than to meet the spiritual needs. So we said we've got to begin to infuse the church with resource providers.
Okay.
So now through the Pulpit to Porches model, we're able to re-engineer the neighborhood and have the church put in the leadership position that has to happen right now.
So you bring those Neighborhood Alliance groups in that will sit down with individuals at those churches to get the services they need?
Yeah, we are able to fashion the resource delivery model to best fit the church. So some churches do weekly assessments where every week the church has outreach workers that go door to door and invite families to come in, and there's a weekly assessment that takes place. Then Better Family Life, we work to case manage the neighborhood through the church. Other churches host neighborhood resource fairs where we network with the resource providers. We have 72 organizations and
that's excellent. That on board.
that we can refer people to. So we just see the church's role right now. When you look at St. Louis, all that's going on and all that's going wrong, we've got to shift the paradigm. And in order to give St. Louis a glimmer of hope, it has to come through the neighborhood, and it must come through the strongest neighborhood partner,
activism.
Which is the church.
At this point. Reverend Paula, you're at Curby Memorial Presbyterian Church. You're new to St. Louis. Welcome to St. Louis from Philadelphia?
Yes.
Yes, yes. I spent a little while in Philadelphia working out there for KYW, radio and TV. And you are now in South City. Tell us about your experience now with Curby.
Well, one, I want to thank you as well for inviting us on the show as well. My experience with Curby has been sort of realizing that they've had a ministry that has focused on inside, on the members. And several members have moved out of Curby, its community, and have moved out, from what I'm understanding, the counties. So now there's these few members that are there who are so used to engaging with each other inside the building. And so now it's about, we need to move outside of this building into the community. And that's why I really have gotten involved with Better Family Life through the Pulpit to Porches to re-familiarize myself even with how to go about doing that. Urban ministry is my passion. But I'm not from St. Louis. So back in Philadelphia, I knew the resources. I knew where to go. I knew who to call to ask, where do I go?
Where were you, in North Philly?
Yes.
Wow,
So you knew where to go. Here, I'm at a loss. And so because my congregation has not went beyond the doors, they're at a loss.
St. Louis is a lot smaller city than Philadelphia.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You're talking about 850,000 African Americans there. Well, we're talking here, half, 350-some thousand, and half of that is African American in this city. So you had a bigger situation there, but you were able to take some of those big ideas that you were dealing with there and bring them here to St. Louis?
And not only just bring it to St. Louis, because people are already here working, and doing folks like Better Family Life are in the trenches. They are doing. I'm just coming in to join in to what's already going on. As I told them when I was in my interview process, I'm coming to join what God is already doing here in St. Louis. It's just that I don't have the resources. I don't know the phone numbers. I don't know the contact persons. So dealing with Better Family Life and Pulpit to Porches is such a learning tool for me because he brings, Mr. Clark, brings all of these resources into one room. So much so that I shared with one of my members the other night, it can be overwhelming. Because folks stand up, I'm from such and such a, and you get tuned into that person, and by the time they sit down and start writing their information
the alliance meetings
another
are great.
person stands.
They're great. They really make a difference. And that's one of the alliance meetings. I met Miss Avis with Habitat for Humanity while living in Dallas. I was part of the Habitat for Humanity there, and it was a wonderful experience to just build a house. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here.
So here at Habitat, basically what we do is we're a nonprofit, and we partner with low to moderate income families and individuals and help them become homeowners. So we go around St. Louis City and County, and we build houses from the ground up, and then we make all of our mortgages affordable. On average, people pay about $550, and they are homeowners to a 3- and 4-bedroom house.
And it makes a difference for a family to have a home that they can say, this is my mortgage and I'm paying it.
It makes a difference for generations with that family.
See, and
when you're talking about building a legacy, owning property makes a difference for generations.
So when individuals, how does the process work if a person wants to contact your organization and have a home built for them?
So they can contact us, and you have our contact information.
Yes,
Robin?
yeah, it's going to come up on the screen.
Okay,
yes.
so once they contact the office, they just fill out an application. They will talk to somebody within my department, and we will literally walk them through the process from having an interest to actually signing a mortgage. And then we continue to work with our families. We have a huge post-purchase program where we work with our families for the next 30 years and support them in being successful homeowners.
So now you actually, when a person comes in, or family comes in, you actually have houses that are being built at the time that they would be interested in placing them in, or are there houses that they're going to be looking at it from the beginning stages to be built? How does that work?
We have both.
Okay.
So most of our program has been where we will find a family and then we will build a house according to that family's needs. But we have now gotten into also doing rehab work, kind of going back to what James was saying.
Good.
Because of the society that we're in, lots of people have lost their homes. So there are a lot of vacant homes that just need a little bit of work on them. So Habitat has now partnered with several local banks. So we are taking those houses and flipping them and giving them or selling them back to other families that can afford the mortgage.
Building a community is the key to really making a difference in St. Louis. Would you say that? And it has to happen with the individual? Is that what I'm hearing here? It's tapping into that human being at this point in the game in order to make a difference with this city. Is that what we're needing, more of that touch?
Yeah, Robin, we have driven in a certain direction for a long time. And we've pretty much lost focus on what matters most. We can look at our crime rate. When you look at the Rams deciding to leave St. Louis, all the unrest that came because of Ferguson, we've seen enough to know that we must now shift and we must begin to embrace our lowliest, that is the human touch that can give St. Louis the foundation that it needs to see a brighter day. We can't keep traveling in our current direction. Things will get worse, and they'll get worse at an exacerbated rate. So our hope is in our future. Our hope is in our future, and our future must include neighborhood engagement with direct outreach. And we've got to move the church and empower the church to begin to be a beacon in our more challenged neighborhoods.
I think we're going to go see a really big difference here in the St. Louis community real soon, because you've had a really good campaign with KMOV TV, the CBS affiliate here in St. Louis, that has made a difference. And people are paying attention about ending the violence, which is really what the problem has been for a long time for the St. Louis area. But I think it's going to take some time, and we're going to probably see some really good changes come about, because we have organizations like yours and churches that care about St. Louis. So it's going to make a really big difference. I want to thank you all for coming on the program and talking with us about your organizations and your churches and some of the things that you're doing. And please reach out anytime to us here at City Corner if you need to get some information out and let folks know what's going on. And I want to thank you, the television audience, for tuning in. If there's anything out there you would like for us to report on or talk about, please hit us here at City Corner. You can go to stltv.net and get more information. I'm Robin Boyce for City Corner. Have a great day.